Well, hello there. Welcome to the Crystal Crawford Show. Okay, this is about to be the weirdest episode I have ever yet done, and there's gonna be more of these, guys. But I called this episode The Day That I Cleared My Mom from My Body and Everything Changed. Hi, Christy, and hi, Aurelia. Because I did, and it did. And I did a video that a lot of you guys have seen around Facebook. Hey Wes, hi Lori. Hi Betty. So I did a 5-minute video on this story and told the story, and I got so much feedback that I was actually like, I think I'm gonna just tell you guys everything that's happened and the tools that I'm using to clear entities and other beings, because this is actually a very, very, very big part of my life that I really haven't talked about that much. And I'm recently certified as a Talk to the Entities facilitator. But it's an interesting thing for me because these are tools that I use in my everyday, hi Maruna, these are tools that I use in my everyday life, but I recently just used them to change something major that was running my life in a way that I didn't know it was running. So here's what happened. I was, I'm like, where do I even start with this? Okay, so here's what happens with anything, right? You want to change something, anything. Like I was actually wanting to change, hi Bert, moving my body more. So prior to Access, I was a triathlete. I was a triathlete. So I swam, I biked, I ran. I was like constantly moving. Hi guys. And then I got into Access, and not really related, but sort of. I got into Access consciousness, and I really just kind of stopped moving. I have stories around this. My husband at the time it was a thing we did together, and then I left him and got into Access, also not related. So anyway, everything just changed. And so it's been about 6 years, and I've been really I've gone back and forth on this wanting to move my body thing and eating thing and like whatever, because I also, right before Access Consciousness, I was about to be trained as a nutritionist. I was accepted to a nutrition school. I was a triathlete. Like the whole way that health and wellness are done in this reality, I was a specialist in. I was actually the person in my community that people came to for meal plans and ideas for, alternative ways of making dressing, all kinds of things. So like gluten-free, dairy-free, I was the specialist. And because I'm who I am, I was the guy. So anyway, so I found Access Consciousness, and these tools started I was like, all the rules are out the window. Like I'm rule-free, I can do whatever I want, I can eat whatever I want, bring it on, And so I just basically dropped that way of living and picked up this other way of living that was a lot more just like whatever the fuck I want to do, whenever I want to do. So that's great. It's been fun. And 6 years in, I'm like, what would it take? I haven't actually been willing to move. I haven't really even been willing to start. I've dabbled, I've started in things. And so about 2 weeks ago, about a month ago, we started doing this challenge in the Awareness Challenge group, which you can come join. It's free. And I do like monthly, bi-weekly challenges in there. Well, we take one tool and we just use it over and over and over and over out loud to see what it will create. Well, this particular tool is, what is the value of refusing receiving? And everything that is right, wrong, good, bad, pop, pock, all nine shorts, boys, beyonds. And that's how you use the tool. You say it out loud to yourself 30 times a day with the clearing statement, and you just see what changes. So I've been doing this now every single day. And so 2 weeks into doing this every single day, I started to wonder about what it would take to be willing to move. Not even like what it would take to move, because I know myself. Once I'm willing to choose something and I choose it, it just fucking changes. And hi, you guys, I see all of you. It just changes. So I was like, well, what would it take to even be willing for this to change? And so I dog on a boned it, meaning like I just went after like, what is it that I have decided that keeps the willingness from wanting to do this thing like out of my universe? I just can't even seem to find the willingness to choose something. And so I was just like kind of energetically like pulling and tugging and like, what does it take? What does it take? So I don't know, like 2 or 3 days into that process, I wake up one morning and I am just literally like in tears every 5 minutes. I can't even tell you what I was crying about. I was like grateful, but it was like so many different things were just sending me into these, does that ever occur for you? Like, where you're just like in tears and you can't even explain why. So, and I'm not actually sad, because I've been sad. I was a sad person before Access. Like, I wrote poetry I was a sad person. So I know sad. So it's kind of like that, but it definitely wasn't me. Anyway, so I spend the whole morning like this, and I'm leading up to a period in the day where I've got to facilitate a telecall. I've got to like actually kind of pull my shit together, like be a facilitator, right? I've been a person up to that moment. Now I need to be a facilitator. Anyway, so it's getting closer, and something came through my world, and I just literally started sobbing. And I've been going through a lot of big changes lately. I've been taking a lot of classes. I've been asking for a lot more, receiving a lot more in my life. So I get it that there's these times where, these tears of transformation occur, because that does occur. Just so you guys know, you can always ask when there's tears, is this me or my body crying? If it's your body crying, your body sometimes just needs to cry, like it's thunderstorms. But this was a little bit different. This was like something I was in something and I couldn't like get out of it for the moment. And so I had a thing like this that occurred for me a couple years ago when I moved into a brand new house. There was a couple of months where I just was like crying every single day, and like, serious money problem, and my money flows were going down. And after 2 months of that, I was lying on a massage table getting my bars run, and it occurred to me to ask if another being was in my body. I got a yes, I cleared it, and instantly I didn't want to die anymore after 2 months of wanting to die. So I had that experience 2 months ago. So, backwards a week ago, I was like, it occurred to me finally to ask, is there someone else in my body? Yes or no? I got a yes. And this is how you can ask. This is how you know there's other beings in your body. You just ask, hey, truth, is there someone else in my body? Yes or no? If you go into thinking at that point, which means anything that's other than a split second of awareness, then you know you're trying to figure it out. But if it's instantly something, that's awareness. So it was yes, someone else was in my body. And then what sort of floated through my mind was mom. And so I like blurted out. I'm like, is my mom in my body? And it was like this yes. And I had like 3 minutes until my telecall. So I did this very like, this is not the clearing you use, but I did this thing where I was like, get out, which you can do. And she did. And it was like she catapulted to the other side of the room. She was out of my body. And the tears immediately stopped, and I just stayed present with this being and me, my mom, for what felt like an eternity. It was probably like 2 seconds. And then patted my face dry, basically got on my telecall, and I facilitated. And then after that, I was with her. Now, I'm gonna interrupt this part of the story to give you a little bit of backstory, which is that my mom is still alive. She's her body is still alive. She lives in Colorado. I live technically in Georgia, although I'm all over the world right now. But she has been for the last 20 years diagnosed with major anxiety, fibromyalgia, depression. Like basically 20 years ago, she just started going really, really, really downhill. And it was about, so 20 years ago, I was about 24. It was after I chose to go to Bible school, which I thought she was going to be really, really happy about, because she was also this really vibrant Christian. But she wasn't. She actually disowned me for 2 years after I moved. And so the moment I chose to go to Bible school, which was about 20 years ago, she just changed. She just changed. My mom, for me, was one of those people that when I was growing up, there was a lot that went on, and I'm not going to get into all of it now. But the gist of it was she simultaneously judged me intensely while lifting me up. And for me, she was one of the most like instigative presence in my life. She both made me feel really shitty and also like really amazing. She instilled in me some really amazing things. So I say that to say that when it changed, I noticed. Okay, so now we're going to jump back up to this time frame. This whole thing about is my mom in my body. So she's alive. But in the last probably 3 months, as I've been taking all these Talk to the Entity courses, I've been, you know, as you take these classes, what you start to look at is awareness about things. And when people totally change, like dementia is one great example of that. You know, I don't even know, there's all these different circumstances where it just seems like they just totally changed, like they're just being a different person. When you hear yourself saying something like that, well, they just started being a different person, that's the moment you want to ask, are they being a different person? And if you get a yes, just get, they're being a different person. There's actually a different being running the body. Now, the original being may still be in the body, but the original being may have flown the coop. And one of the things I knew about my mom is that from the moment I came in to the planet, she and I always had this primary relationship connection. I was her primary relationship. My dad left at 13. I was the oldest. But I was always, and she has even says this to this day, I was always like hers. So she left her body 20 years ago. I didn't know that then. I look back on it and know that now. And this year was the year that the age that she was when she left her body. So it was my birthday. So, I mean, I don't know if that's relevant or if it was the change I was asking for that was relevant. And for the last, I don't know, like 2 or 3 years, I've been watching my body shape and realizing I'm looking more and more and more like my mother. Now, all of these things that I'm talking about now could easily be brushed off to, well, I'm 44. That's what 44-year-old bodies do. Genetics, you could brush it off to genetics. Like, I have my mother's body. I don't know what you want me to tell you. It's an aging body. She was aging. You could easily like just brush all this under the carpet with this reality's reasons and justifications why things do what they do. And I was actually doing that. But it was starting to bug me because it was just starting to bug me. And this is how it will go in your world. Something will just start to like kind of bug you. Like you're like, well, why does it have to be this way? Do I actually have to get old and fat? Because that's what was starting to happen in my world. I was like, well, I guess I'll just get older and a little fatter. And if I'm single, that's fine. And I was getting okay with sort of leading to dying. And that's kind of what got my attention, because I don't really do that. I don't really do like, okay, now we're 44 and getting older and like, you know, whatever. I don't do that. And I don't really do normal. And these were the things that were starting to like kind of peak in my world of like, what's actually happening here? And do I want to let that just occur? Do I want to let, because everything's just a choice. I'm to this point now where I get like everything's a choice. You know, I could get old and get fat and get ugly, whatever. If I want to choose that. I also could have J-Lo's body if I want to choose that. What would I like to choose? And I'm like, well, J-Lo's body's more fun. I like that. At 50 years old, she's got everybody lusting after her. You know what I mean? So that day, Mom, get out. Had my telecall, sitting there with her after, and what occurs after that was this communication. And we talk to the entities, there's the clearing, there's the communication, and there's the receiving. And communication with entities is so not this reality. It's so energetic. And I'm so grateful for Access Consciousness that has empowered me to know that my first language is energy. It always has been. And I would ask the same of you, like, is your first language energy? Meaning, like, when someone comes into the room, you just know if they're pissed, or you know what's going on, or you have a sense of somebody texting, like, before they text, or all these weird things happen that really aren't that weird because you're aware. So she was in the room with me, and I had such a strong sense of her, and it made me cry because I have so much gratitude for her, the being. But I also have this intense awareness that she has always wanted to own and possess me, and that she, for the last 20 years, has been using my body to get what she never had in her life. Because I am really willing to play. I'm willing to play in sex, I'm willing to play with dating, I'm willing to move and go, and she never did that when she was alive in her body. And so she used me and my body to do that. Now, I'm not saying like she's been the one talking to you these last 5 years. Sorry, now it's me. It goes in and out, and it's not a linear thing. But she was starting to really take over the body part of my body. And that's when it started to ping me, the being. And of course, it's not this separated in your head when you're looking at all of it. But now that I'm looking back on it, I can see it happening. And so my demand for change brought it to light that if I was going to have the change I was asking for, I had to be willing to clear this being that was running the body. So I got her out, I was communicating with her, and it was instant. You know, I mean, the communication happens in what feels like 60 seconds, but it's probably microseconds. And I had a good gratitude cry, and then I was like, you have to go. So it turns out she stayed out of my body. She stayed out of my body, but she actually hung around for about a week, because even in that moment, I wasn't totally willing to clear her until probably a couple days ago. And the clearing for any being that doesn't have, there's a few things. First of all, you get to choose. You get to choose whether a being goes or not. It isn't their choice, it's your choice. And this is a big conversation about being willing to be the dominant entity in your life and in all these tools. Are you willing to be the dominant entity? And if not, what would it take to be willing is the question. But you get to choose whether you clear them or not. You get to choose whether they're in your body or not. Even if you're a portal, and there are people that are portals, where it mean like, I'll tell you, Shelley, being a portal means entities come in and out, and until you know you're a portal, you are at the effect of all these millions and billions of beings going in and out of your body, so you never fully have your awareness. But even if you're a portal, it's instant to close it. You're just like, well, everything that is, right, wrong, good, bad, pot, pock, all natures, boys, beyonds, and the portal's closed. So it's not even significant. So she didn't want to go. She actually wants to be my primary relationship forever. But after she was out of my body, what I started to notice is that every single thing in my life started to change. I'd been doing a lot of avoidance with some aspects of money that just started to change. I bought a program and I started moving, and I started moving. It was fun. I liked it. My body actually changed shape. My face changed shape. My torso changed shape. It actually became a younger body. I was dealing with and relating to men in this particular way that completely and totally changed. There was no more need of a relationship anymore. And when she was alive, she functioned from the need of a relationship all the time. It's just gone. And so a couple days ago, I realized she was still around, and that the caring that I have for her I was using the caring that I had for her to not clear her. But I realized if I wasn't willing to clear her, I wasn't willing to actually, she didn't want to stick around to contribute. Because there are beings that do stick around to contribute. There are beings that all they want to do is like gift to you. That's a true thing. And I have lots of those. I have lots of those. You have lots of those. But she wasn't one of those. She just wanted to take and use. And I just said, I'm sorry, you have to go now. And here's how you clear her. Truth, who are you? Truth, who were you before that? Truth, who were you before that? Truth, who were you before that? Truth, what's your job? Truth, what was your job before that? 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 And truth, who will you be in the future? You can take all your magnetic imprinting and you can go now. Right, wrong, good, bad, pot, pock, all night shorts, boys and beyonds. And that clearing is a facilitation of a being without a body. The thing, when you don't have a body, you move at the speed of space. But when you're an entity is a being without a body, you are trapped in a time loop, basically. You don't realize, a lot of times you don't realize you don't have a body. Other times you're trapped in this idea of something you need to do, so you don't let that go. So basically you're trapped in some kind of loop. And what that clearing does is it facilitates that entity into getting that they are something, they were something before that, and somebody before that, and somebody before that. Oh, that gives them an awareness of their history. It gives them an awareness of what their job is now, what they've made it, what it was before that, and before that, and before that. So they have an awareness of that history, and then they get an awareness of what they could choose to be in the future. So it's a gift. It's actually you being willing to facilitate other beings and you in the process. That's the gift of facilitation, is it's never one-sided. It's never just like one person gets the benefit and you don't. Like when you give a bars session, you get a bars session. When you give an access consciousness session, you get a session. When you facilitate online classes, you get an online class. That's the gift of these tools, is they aren't one-sided. But I see a lot of people with entities do this thing where I just want to get rid of them. Like I just want to get rid of them. And if you're doing that with entities, you're very likely doing that with people too. I just want to get rid of them. I've got these problems. I didn't have a problem. I just had a mom that was using my body. And it finally got to a point where I was willing to be aware of it. I was willing to be the dominant entity in my life now, and I was willing to actually give her another choice. And me another choice. Because that's the other thing that was going on with her and my body like that, is I had a very limited menu of choices. I kept trying to choose as me. I did a lot of choosing as me, but it was always like I had to like move through this energetic sludge or move around this energetic sludge. Not consciously, it always kind of felt hard in some areas where it shouldn't be hard. Like this thing around money was this one particular thing around money. I was like, I have no willingness to even change this. This thing, all of it was like an unwillingness to even change it. And I don't really do unwillingness when I'm being me. I really do, yeah, I'll change anything. What's it gonna take? And I choose. So these are the clues that you can get that you're not actually being you. Now, I want you to understand that this does not mean, if you are not being you, that you have your mother in your body. That's not what I'm saying here. And this doesn't mean, if you're not being you, that you have another being in your body. I'm just saying it's a possibility. And if you're curious about it, you can just ask, like, truth, are there other beings in here, yes or no? And if you get yes, you can clear them with that clearing that I just said. So now, now it's this big exploration of, what am I truly capable of? What do I want to have as my reality, unrelated to anything about my mother? And here's the thing, my mom's body is still alive. She lives in Colorado. She called me yesterday. And if this is something that you're dealing with, then I just want to tell you that this can either be a tremendous sadness for you, and there may be a little of that. Like if you're just discovering this for the first time, or you're looking at this for the first time, there may be some of that where you're like, missing them. And I get that, because I care about her so much. So much of my life was chosen so that I could relate to her better and have the relationship with her that I always saw. But a lot of that was built on the utopian ideals of mother and daughter, and a lot of it was built on these hopes and wishes and fantasies that you have as a girl with her mom. And so I have a lot of allowance for that for me now. But what's still true is that I care. And that comes through in all my things, really, like in these videos and my emails, and like that caring comes through in all my stuff still. I can't pock and pod that because that's me. What I can pock and pod is anything and everything that I may be holding in place, trying to get her to choose something else or whatever. And so knowing that she left her body 20 years ago makes relating to her really easy now, because I get like someone else is running her body. And I was even saying to a friend of mine the other day, I'm like, I don't actually think I'm gonna miss her when she goes. I'm actually kind of hoping she goes. It'll just be easier on her, easier on us, right? Like we don't have to deal with any and all turmoil that is associated with her, because she's been a big pain in the ass. and so it can either be this big sadness, or there can be a lot of freedom. I guess the other thing I want to end with is like, I have no idea what got me looking at this, but I've been watching some stuff on Netflix just, to unwind. And there's lots of series like this. There's a series called Criminal Minds, but there's this other series called Mind Hunters, and it's set in the 70s. And it's this guy that kind of starts the whole thing of looking at the psychology of serial killers. And so I was looking at the other day, sociopaths, what we've defined and labeled as sociopaths. And in psychology, a sociopath essentially is a person who can do terrible things and have no feelings about it. And there was this lie I bought for a really, really long time, where if I didn't have feelings about something, then I must be a sociopath. And I've been accused of that too by very abusive people. So I want to speak to that briefly, in that you're not wrong for seeming like you don't care if somebody goes, or seeming like you don't, if they go, it's okay. You're actually way more free than you've given yourself credit for. Feelings are actually the lower harmonic of being and knowing and perceiving and receiving, right? Feelings are this thing people do to prove that they care. I just care. And I care about the being in my mom's body right now too. Like, truly, at some point I'm sure I'm going to buy my mom a house and just make sure she's okay, because she'll never take care of herself and she'll let her house fall apart. And I'll make sure she's got lots of rocks to sort and wash, because she likes to do that. And, a steady supply of Netflix and all the things that make her happy, because I can, because that's me in the world. But I don't have to be her. I get to be me. And you getting to be you is the greatest gift this planet has. And so you going after what that is the greatest gift you can give us and yourself. And you get the hints that you're not being you when you struggle. When you're struggling, you're not being you. When you're having a problem, you're not being you. When you can't seem to get to a choice, you're not being you. And so this is another body of tools and questions you can ask that could give you more awareness of what it might be that you're being, right? You might be being somebody else in your body. You just got to ask, truth, is there someone else in my body? And I guess the other thing I just want to add to this, beings and bodies conversations, is it's not a scary thing. It's not a weird thing. In fact, the weird things are actually more true than the not weird things. So it's just something that occurs. And there's all kinds of things that can invite beings into your body. There's also sleeper entities that wake up at certain times. But the thing is, like, you become aware of it when you become aware of it, and you change it by clearing it. And that's it. And then just making another choice. And when it's time for you to know, you'll know. When it's time for something to change, you'll know it's time to change it. You don't have to go in there and rut out all the beings in the hopes that you can. It's just like, what are you asking for? What do you want to choose and have as your life? What's the change you are creating? And what tools can you use to have that change? That was me with this body thing. I was going to have the change with my body. I just didn't know how to get there, but I was now demanding that it show up. And I was looking for the willingness. And in the looking for the willingness, I found the mom, got her out, and changed it. So keep going with what you want to change. That's the key. That's the key. Not the wait until you're all cleared and all fixed until you go. It won't work. It doesn't work. You've got to go. And then as you're going, you'll be like, I can't seem to go here. What's it gonna take? And the weird thing that it will take to unlock you will show itself. So I want to invite you dearly and deeply to the body of work called To Talk to the Entities. It is completely transforming my world right now. Actually, this weekend I'm going to a class called Beings of Light with Shannon. And man, you think I'm melting now, you just wait till after that class. There's an awareness there that I have been creating with the Beings of Light for eons, and they are here to support us and create with us this new world. And so find a Talk to the Entities class. If you would like to host a Talk to the Entities class where you are, please let me know, because I am creating my schedule for next year and I'm really open. And use these tools. You can find the book on Kindle or on the Access site. You can, Shannon O'Hara is a wealth of resources and a bunch of other facilitators. So, goodness. So how does it get better than this? And what's possible now? What choices do I have available now? What choices do you have available now? And what can we go forward to create? Yes, Danielle, send me a message. I'll get you a link. I adore you. I'm so grateful for you. If you think this conversation would contribute to anyone, would you please tell them about it, or share it, tag them, share it, whatever. And I will see you guys. I will be in France next week, and I will see you there.